We can confirm to you that Herat has fallen this evening. Residents there, we talked about half a dozen people who all said the same thing, that there were Taliban in all the streets in the centre of town, that they had come into town this afternoon, pushed through. They had been trying to get into the city for about a month, but they made a breakthrough, crossed through the front line this afternoon, and they broke into the prison, they got into the police compound, they got into the governor's compound, they released all the prisoners. Residents telling us that they had prisoners. One man said, my relatives were in the prison and now they're in my house. And they could hear gunfire, but they said, us driving through town, that gunfire is not coming from clashes from security force. It is celebratory gunfire coming from the Taliban. They said, from what they could see, that security forces seem to just give up without a fight. Now, it is a huge prize, as you said, for the Taliban, the third biggest city in Afghanistan, and a huge loss for the government. It is the biggest city in the West, and they had tried very, very hard to hold on to it. They had empowered the former governor of Herat, his name is Ismail Khan, to create a local uprising movement who had worked with their special forces, using airstrikes also to keep the Taliban out, but the Taliban breaking through this evening. It is not the only place that the Taliban are claiming this evening. They have also claimed a province near that in the west called Bellis. We've talked to local journalists there that said heavy fighting has been ongoing in that province, that there are police and intelligence compounds have been captured, but there is still heavy fighting in the governor's compound there, so not entirely captured by the Taliban, but certainly on the cusp of going. There is also heavy fighting in Kandahar city. Now that is incredibly important because it is the second biggest city in Afghanistan. It is the birthplace of the Taliban. They have been fighting incredibly hard to get in. The government has sent a lot of their most elite special forces to keep the Taliban out. US airstrikes have been ongoing there to try and push the Taliban out for at least a month, but they managed to get into the heart of the city today. We saw videos of it, but communications are very poor. So it's incredibly hard to stand up exactly where they're at now. I talked to someone just a short time ago who said heavy fighting is ongoing, but it's hard to tell exactly what the Taliban now control in Kandahar city with communications down. Now, earlier today, the province of Ghazni fell. Ghazni city is just 150 kilometers from Kabul. It's the closest city to Kabul that they have captured. Here's our report on that.
Taliban fighters overlooking land that would soon be theirs. The armed group tried to take Ghazni 3 years ago but failed. This time it had control in a matter of hours.
You can see our fighters with tanks in the city. We're doing an operation heading towards the police headquarters. There was a prison break and the prisoners were released. The Taliban are here and we're moving forward to capture more places. Keep watching us.
Ghazni Governor Dawood Laghmani is accused of doing a deal with the Taliban for safe passage to escape to Kabul. These Taliban yell, the governor has run away. Flaunting trucks and equipment claimed in recent conquests, the Taliban was seen escorting the governor through its new territories. Afghan police arrested him shortly after for surrendering without a fight. Ghazni is the 10th provincial capital to fall in 7 days. Prior to this week, the last time the Taliban had held a provincial capital was 5 years ago, and that was only for a matter of days. Its location is also significant as the gateway to the south. Of the provincial capitals that have fallen, Ghazni is the closest to Kabul, just 150 kilometers away. The Taliban now hold about 2/3 of the country, including much of northern Afghanistan, provinces in the west, and rural areas in the south. All now leverage they're taking into negotiations with the Afghan government.
They've got what they wanted from the Doha process. They've got a US troop withdrawal, which means a NATO troop withdrawal. And I can't see why they would, at this stage, compromise. They think they can take Afghanistan by force, and that's what they're going to try and do over the next few months.
Here in the capital, concern is growing about the possibility of a Taliban takeover.
We worry a lot when we see the Taliban capturing the provinces. It's natural for us to worry about it. We are asking the Taliban not to destroy cities. They should do a peace agreement. They should agree to a government. They can be in power and we can be in power together.
The government is bringing some special forces back to Kabul to bolster security. It means risking the loss of more provinces to the Taliban.
There is heavy fighting ongoing in 4 other provinces, so this is not stopping. The Taliban are not stopping yet. They are turning their attention, now that they've claimed these other provinces, they're turning their attention to others. Tonight I'm told that heavy fighting has erupted in Logar, Faryab, Zabul, Paktika. In Helmand, they say that they think they are making inroads in the provincial capital of Lashkar, which has essentially been under siege for about 2 weeks. But of all of these places they are fighting, the most attention will be on Kandahar city, the second biggest city, hundreds of thousands of people there, the birthplace of the Taliban. It would be a huge morale boost for the Taliban to get it, and the government are fighting very hard to keep it.